So we got some news.
Mm.
Of course, the first news, the big news, the nerd news that happened this week, it's been all over the internet. We got our first look, quote unquote, look at the Thing, Ben Grimm, the Thing, in the new Fantastic Four movie. It's
Talk about a rough cut.
Yeah, like they're putting a rubber mask on him in a scene, and I mean, I don't. What do you guys think? I kind of feel like they're putting him in a basic rubber suit, and then they're going to animate his face on top of it because you can see that like there's no mouth or eyes or anything on there. I think they're going to animate all that. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I talked with you just before this, and I'll reiterate that I would much rather like the Ben Grimm suit for was it Fantastic
Roger
Four
Corman?
by Roger Corman?
Yeah.
Was not bad. The mouth movement, everything, like for what the budget they have, and given all the given all of the advancements in technology, and servos and stuff, they could probably make a kicking practical effects suit, and then maybe even out the rough edges with CGI. I would much rather see practical effects suit than having yet another CGI extravaganza. Because again, like Godzilla -1 taught us, when you use CGI the way it's supposed to be used, and how it works, you don't need to use it for everything. Like that. The whole point was that directors have gotten lazy and they say, "Oh, well, we'll just fix it in post with CGI," instead of knowing what the limits of that are and running into the uncanny valley every single time. So, I mean, the look that we got, the suit, the face, it looks okay. And the picture's blurry. So, it's a good start.
Well,
I would hope to do more with the practical effects, though.
Real quick, Thrawn Kill says, reminds me of the first Turtles movie.
Oh, yeah.
Roger Corman, I think the Roger Corman Thing was based on the same technology as the Turtles were.
Yeah, it was right around the same time.
Yeah. What did you think, Don?
Oh, I was very, very happy because I like things to be comic accurate, and by the looks of this picture, that's old Blue Eyes there.
You're right.
And I haven't felt that way before with the other things that we've seen on screen. But again, this is, he's got the weirdly shaped head and the eyebrows and everything, and I love it. And, I'm not like super into practical effects, but let's face it, all these movies nowadays, their budgets are ballooning, and it's exactly because of what John said. We'll do it in post, we'll do it in CGI. Okay, well, that costs a lot of fucking money, and you really can't budget correctly for that. So I absolutely think it's smart to do a hybrid. Yeah, let's do practical effects when we can, when it looks good, when we can get away with it. It's cheaper. And then, okay, if we have to do something to enhance it in CGI to make it look good, okay, we'll do that. But I think they're just way better off leaning a bit more on the practical effects.
Look, first comment. You mean you didn't like Rockbiter Thing from Fan Four Stick, Don?
No, I didn't. In fact, John, I kind of blame him for maybe my son not even liking comic books because he was into the Thing, so I took him to see that movie, and then I'm sitting like next to my son as I'm watching the Thing like murder people for the government. So yeah, my son is not into comic book movies or anything like that before. It's really sad because I know I'm an X-Men guy, but so my comic book experience when I was younger, it's not that I bought all the comics. It's that my grandma or my mom would go to the grocery store and I had nothing else to do but go over to the comic book rack and read some comic books. Didn't home per se. Hence why I don't have this giant collection. But the Fantastic Four would always have these awesome covers. And the Thing really was like my favorite there for a while until I started getting in. I saw Colossus and the X-Men. But really, my first memories of like looking at comic books is like Fantastic Four covers in the groceries with the Thing doing something cool on there. And I always liked that. So to see that finally the Fantastic Four, although not my favorite, still close to my heart as far as the first family, and definitely should be a flagship, something that's dealt with respect, and obviously it's happening, and this is just another sign, so it just makes me real happy.
I
And
think
if you want, sorry, one more thing. Our listeners, if you want to see the difference between how good practical effects are against a CGI thing where the director just keeps saying, we'll fix it in CGI, look at The Thing from 1981, I think. I forget. And then The Thing, the movie that's called The Thing, which is technically a prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing from the 80s. But in the prequel, which they made that movie like 20 years later, they had practical effects, and then they decided we'll CGI over them later. So if you watch both those movies, you will see the difference between practical effects done right and how much better they can make a movie, and what happens when they just take the easy road and decide, well, we'll just skim some of the money going to the CGI people for our next Porsche or something. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
No, and it's funny, you're making me think, and I know you're going to get upset with me, but I think one of the great CGI versus practical effects arguments was like the Star Trek, The Next Generation, versus the Babylon 5, because Babylon 5 was one of the early shows to adopt CGI, and it really wasn't there yet. And the Star Trek shows were still using practical. Like the Starfields going by was actually just a black piece of cloth with little holes in it and a light behind it that looked like stars going by. Like, and
for the flybys of the ships, they had the Enterprise D, they had a 3-foot model, and later on they had a larger model.
And they would just hand the camera by it. Yeah. So I mean, and it just at the time, obviously the CGI wasn't there, so it looked a lot better. But I think mixing practical and CGI is a good idea, because instead of having a green tennis ball there that they have to act against for the thing, like having a guy in a suit, even if he's not fully animated, is something better to act against than having, the tennis ball. And then also it's more of the spatial thing as well, like making sure he's taking up the right amount of space as the thing, as opposed to like, oops, we went through his arm here, so now we've got to like fix that in post. I think it makes things a lot easier and look better, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, you don't want your people in the movie clipping like they do in video games.
No, you don't, because that's we've seen. It's funny. Someone pointed out, I can't remember the channel I watch, but it's all they're special effects guys, and they'll like recreate things.
Quarter Crew.
That's it. Yes, thank you.
Crew.
I love that show. And they did point out some of the mistakes in Deadpool Wolverine, and like, I don't care, but like the scene, the long scene of them fighting all the Deadpool, and then
there were so many mistakes there. I caught a few myself.
But when they bust out of the bus at the end, like one of their arms goes over the other or something, like it's a real bad cut. You can tell it was done in post.
At the beginning of that scene, when Deadpool grabs the lamppost, it looks like a video game character that one of those videos on YouTube where they show the video game character, but the video card translated it wrong and they go all weird.
Here's a weird one that they pointed out, and I'm not sure about this one. Hugh Jackman, in those scenes where his sleeves are ripped, and then and of course he pulls the mask on, blah blah blah. That he might actually be wearing sleeves, and they CGI'd bare skin, because they said you can tell by the way that the shoulders are cut, something's not right there. And Hugh Jackman did have a few years ago, he had a skin cancer thing. I mean, he's fine now, but he's probably really careful about sun exposure. So I'm kind of curious if that really was CG. They're like, they weren't sure when they were talking about that. They're like, it kind of looks like it, but they weren't sure. But I'd be curious if if that is CGI. Wing Commander prepared me for watching Babylon 5.
Oh, Wing Commander, that's right. Hey, you want a deeper cut than Wing Commander? What is it? The Last Starfighter.
I'm amazed they haven't redone that yet.
The concept is for that movie is just great, and yeah, they could expand that. That is ripe for
Mark Hamill
expanding
was
the
in
universe.
that, right?
Wing Commander? No, you're thinking Guyver.
Yes, he was. Nope, Mark Hamill
he was in Guyver as well, but yeah,
he was in the video games. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of, the video games. So
he was the voice of the video game.
It was more than the voice. They had straight up back then, full motion video.
Yeah, because it was one of the first games that had a lot of full motion video in it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, are we talking about the same thing? The Last Starfighter? You sure?
Yes, yes. There was a movie and there was a video game. So,
okay, yeah, I was talking about the movie. So,
right,
I never played.
And I got mixed up because I thought you were talking about Wing Commander, and Mark Hamill was absolutely in the Wing Commander game.
Mark Hamill
was
multiple. Everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Talking about Mark Hamill, talk about George Lucas. He's the pioneer of the CGI shit. In fact, molding. Well, no, remember when he redid the original movie for the first time?
You mean when he ruined everything? Because he couldn't stop messing with it?
They shot the Jabba the Hutt scene because he put the Jabba the Hutt scene where he walks around him. Jabba the Hutt was originally a human.
Right.
So they see him and he walks behind him and they had the CGI him like stepping on his tail.
That poor actor who played Jabba the Hutt will never have that scene, the original scene, see the light of day. Other than in deleted scenes.
He still says he's a wonderful human being, though, which is funny. That's still there.
Yes.
Clearly not.
He's clearly not a human being. Because that was the whole thing is after they shot the scene, and it's funny, I had, oh God, here we are on a tangent. I had the novelization of the first movie when I was a kid, and I remember reading it, and that scene is in the novelization because those who know, novelizations are usually made before the movie's finished and put out, and they're just given a script to turn into a novel. So that's in the novelization, and I'm like, this isn't in the movie. As a kid, it always bothered me, and then I saw a behind the scenes thing with George Lucas where he was like, they shot the scene, but he's like, it didn't feel right. He didn't want Jabba the Hutt to be a human. So he went back, and that's why we got what we got in Return of the Jedi. But, George Lucas he couldn't stop touching those movies for a long time. Thanks for watching this clip from the Superhero Speak podcast. And don't forget to watch us live every Sunday night right here on this channel.
While you're here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you won't miss out on any of our great upcoming content.
Speaking of content, don't forget to check out our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast, links to our social media, merch, comic reviews, and so much more. That's superheroespeak.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't let your cape be caught in the door. See you next time.